Hello again, welcome back to another video. What we're doing today is I've got R1230 AKA Robin from the Golfstuds. I put a request out on one of my previous videos for some players to come and play around with us. Something a bit different. I'm sure you get sick of me hitting the ball around, so that's what we're doing here. I'm trying to split screen again, which you'll notice towards the end goes a little bit wrong. I'm getting a bit better at it. It's very hectic when you're trying to play and talk and work out what's going on in the cameras at the same time, so I'm getting better. I'll try and reduce the mistakes, so apologies again for that. You're probably getting a bit sick of Waikiki. I must admit I am as well. We've had loads of videos on it recently with it being a new course. It was Robin's choice. I asked what course I wanted to play. Waikiki was his choice, so that's fair enough. So on with the game. Now I'm doing the voiceover afterwards. I did attempt to talk and play at the same time, but the kind of garbled mumbling that came out of me wasn't really worth putting on the video, so I decided I'd do it again at the end. So yeah, so you can see me in the top corner in the little screen and Robin's playing on the main screen. You'll notice I think the last couple of holes I mess it up a bit and you get to miss what Robin's doing, so apologies Robin for that. So yeah, Robin went off the back. I am attempting, you can see in the top corner, to do to line up a long putt, but Robin didn't need the putting guide and just chipped it straight in. And my putt, I believe, has also gone in, so birdie each on the first. So this is Waikiki from the third tee. Robin suggested third, fourth, fifth or sixth. I've played quite a lot of 5 and 6, not played much of 3 at all, so I suggested we went with 3. This is actually our second attempt because my first attempt was even worse with regards to my production. I managed to not video anything anyone was doing for most of the round, so despite the fact it goes a bit wrong at the end, you do get to see most of what's happening. So what I'm doing here, obviously can't really comment on what Robin's doing, we'll watch his shots. What I'm doing here is playing a full 1 wood. I'm fairly confident from previous experience that'll go on the green, but that is a strong left to right wind. Robin's hit his a bit strong by the look of that, and I really can't remember what I did, so let's have a look. It's about the right for distance and a bit too hard. Sorry, when I said about right for distance, it looked like it was. A lot of the time it'll just take a little bump on the front fringe which will slow it right down, but that hopped right over it and hence off the back. So both for chips for eagle, with chips for eagle. It's not working out too bad with this split screen. It's not ideal because it does block off the scores at the top right, but you do get to see the scores after each round. I don't think it's particularly important to see them all the time. And as to where I could put the other screen, that's probably the only place that you could still just about make out what's going on. And I think it's nice to have, as I just lip out that chip, I think it's nice to have visibility of both players, which I managed to do by inviting another account of mine to spectate and have that running on another window and kind of blend the two together. But I'm quite looking forward to hopefully getting a few more of these types of rounds going. And what I'd really like, we'll all see these monster scores. I think how the hell did they do that? I'd quite like to get some of these really big players on and see some really big scores. We're not managing it so far, me and Robin today. I've put the odd really good one through, but you do see some scores that seem unbelievable. So if you regularly for your prep round put in a really impressive score at a really hard course and you'd like to show us all how it's done, by all means give us a shout. As Robin plays the draw there, that's worked out quite well for him. I've opted to blast it through the trees, which after a little bit of practice I worked out wouldn't land me in the drink. That kicks off quite nastily to the right though, so Robin on the green with a putt for eagle and me with a chip. So again, if you watched my live stream of our Waikiki tournament, you'll know it's always an entertaining course, this one. But I was saying towards the end, what it would be really good, and it does depend entirely on, I'll put my chip in, I didn't realise I did that. It does depend entirely on interest, but let's say we set a score today, myself or Robin. It's a beatable score, you think, well, I can do better than that, let me know, we'll do a round, and if you beat it, you'll be top of what will become hopefully a leaderboard. If there was enough interest, I could play a couple of rounds a week, and if you are, if you can say to me, right, I'm going to put in a perfect round at whatever course, I'll play the round with you, I'll record it, and if you do, then you're up there for other people to take on. So you can call yourself, Golfstar Dan leaderboard champion, or I'll think of a better name than that maybe. A bit like Top Gear. I don't know if you get the Top Gear where you are, where they have a celebrity on each week, and they'll do a lap round the standard kind of course on the standard race track, and at the end of the season, whoever's top obviously gets some sort of trophy, or certainly the kudos. But we could have that as an ongoing thing again if there was interest out there. So two very different approaches here, two very different first shots. I went for the percentage shot really. It was quite a big bit of fairway to aim for. I think Robin went to try and draw it to leave him a nicer approach. As it turned out, he just caught that bunker, which meant not such a nice approach. But the approach I've got is tricky because it's quite a short sand wedge, doesn't get a lot of loft. You'll notice I kind of deliberately went left there. You'll see why when you see my putt. Robin's gone the same direction, I think probably for the same reason. Very straightforward putt from there, hopefully. So Robin pops his in for eagle, for birdie, and I put mine for eagle, which puts me, I think, a couple of strokes up at this point. The fifth, which is coming up, you will have seen again in the live stream I did, which we're playing from the first tee and the sixth tee. I managed to miss out the last game from the sixth tee, the final, kind of on purpose, because it was all getting a bit too much for us trying to cope with streaming 2 games at once, 20 players or 18 players I think it was. Talk, me and Char, and play a game myself. It was just too much, so I ended up kind of opting out a little bit by missing a couple of putts on the last. So Robin has played a nice approach there. That was, I'm not going to say lucky, but it was certainly useful to hit that first bit of fringe. If he'd missed that, he would have skipped along off the back, but as it was, that's given himself a nice little, mind you, I did the same thing, but I still went off the back, a smaller bit of green to aim for, so it's given him a nice-ish putt for eagle. It's always nice to get an eagle on this hole, very difficult to put it close. Even if you think you bang onto the pin, it'll kick off on the rough up the top and shoot one way or the other, as mine did. Robin's just turned out very nicely though. So I'm going for the chip. Robin's gone for the putt. Robin's held his putt, and I've missed my chip, which brings it back to within 1 shot. So quite a nice close round at this point. I'd like to try and talk a bit more about the shots I'm playing. I'm trying to remember them. I actually did this yesterday, quite late on my time, or certainly for me, because I have to be in bed quite early. So I'm just voicing over this today ahead of uploading it. So I haven't messed up the cameras yet. I think that happens around hole 8. So 8 and 9, I think you just get to see me, rather than that wasn't from an ego point of view. It's just me being absent-minded and forgetting what I was doing. So this one in a 3-yard kind of headwind. It's actually interesting. My wind looks to me to be a little bit more straight than Robin's, which I've not noticed before, but that's interesting. But anyway, I'm playing a full driver. Again, hopefully I've worked out that if I hit it there, I'm not going to catch a leaf and drop into the sand, which I didn't do. I seem to remember, yeah, so that's got a lovely bounce, and that was a good approach, an approach as I could have wished for there. Just a tap in for eagle. So I think that restores my 2-shot lead. So yeah, going back to what I was saying before, if you are confident you can, play around, and you're consistent on a particular course, you can put in a killer score, and you'd like to come on the channel, have a round, again, show us all what you can do. I'll try and sort my cameras out so I don't forget to follow you all the way around. By all means, give me a shout. I would love to, like I say, get a bit of a leaderboard going on. Very tricky putt, that one, and he's just missed it. And obviously I'm having a bit of a problem with my screen. I think what I was doing there was clicking on the screen monitor on OBS rather than actually on my game itself, and I managed to move the screen around. I'm getting better, but we're still prone to the odd disaster. This one here, I believe I try a high shot. Yeah, you'll notice that I think what I do is I try a high 8 iron. Again, a little bit of practice I've done beforehand, but obviously not enough. In a 2-yard wind, I worked out a high 8 iron for my stats would get me roughly the middle of the green. So what I was hoping is a high 8 iron in a 3-yard wind would kind of bounce somewhere in the rough or the bunker just in front, and perhaps even catch the fringe and leave me a nice little putt for birdie. Misjudged that totally. Again, a lot of this due to the recent jump in stats. The wind's affecting it a lot more, which if you watch my video on how the wind affects your shots, which I've done recently, you'll know a bit more about that. So I'm not too disappointed with that, as long as you don't I mean, this getting a par on this hole is a good result. The birdie's great, so you know, fairly standard shot to get a par here. So I'm just going to play over hit chip, overhitting because I'm out of the rough, and you'll notice we've lost Robin completely, and this is where it all went a bit wrong for me with regards to my YouTube skills or my recording skills. Again, it's happening a bit less, and I'm trying to sort it out. I just need to, you know, I've only got 2 monitors. I probably need a 3rd monitor actually, just solely for recording on, and I've got one sitting on the floor here. I could plug it in actually, and just finding somewhere to put it on my desk. So onto the 8th, and again, no sign of Robin. Apologies, Robin. You can hopefully see him land on the green, see where he is, that sort of thing. But not quite what I intended, which is to have both of us, all of our shots for the whole 9 holes. But I did get most of it. You know, could have been worse. So while waiting for the shots, thank you again, Robin. I have said thank you just via the message system on Golfstar. I think it's great to have a bit of variety. You must get sick, or I certainly do, of just me belting the ball around on my own. I've enjoyed doing the live streams recently. There's 95%, I think I went there, was a 95% one-wood power shot. So the plan was I think I give it a bit more power to try and get it over. There's a hump in the middle of the green, and it's very difficult. If you leave it short of that, you have a really tricky putt. So what I wanted to do is come the other side of that hump, but then having done that, very, very difficult to hold the green. So getting the distance right on there is tricky. I'm also going to try and get a few more regular kind of streams of just the odd Brit drivers knock around. I mean, we tend to have a game or 2 games per night. If anybody, you know, it's one of these things which I think just me playing and talking all the way through is a bit dull. Certainly, again, it is for me. So it'd be quite nice to get a bit of company. I don't know if I can get someone to co-commentate on these things, but it makes it, you know, quite difficult to plan, and it's nice just to be able to sit down and play the game on an evening, to be honest. So maybe once a week or so I'll try and set up one of these games. And there's a bad miss there for birdie. That would have put me 10 under. Robin made his birdie, which brings it back to 1 shot in it with 1 hole to go. Yeah, so again, this was actually our 2nd try. We played 9 holes around the same course, and then when we got the end of it, we didn't either of us have a particularly good round. I suggested we play it again because my videoing was worse than this time, despite the fact you can't see Robin at all. I think last time you just watched 2 of me. The previous time we just watched 2 of me the whole way around, which wasn't totally defeats the object. So I'm toying with the idea here of playing a forward power, which would have the height to get over that rock, which is right in front of us when you cut back to me. But what I again played here was a bit more of a percentage shot, just a drive. It's going to give me a closer approach, very difficult to control. I would have preferred to have gone kind of where I was aiming initially there, but this was the safer option. So it's left me 129 yard to the pin. Quite difficult to judge. Again, sand wedge underpowered, not much loft at all, very difficult to hold. Wind won't affect it so much, but I think it affects it a bit more than I expected there. If you watch it in the air, it is kicking over to the left quite a lot. So to be honest, the line was about bang on there actually, but I just should have took a little bit more power off, leave a more comfortable putt, because it is quite a tricky putt here for eagle. Robin is about to play his approach. Hopefully, if I can hold my putt, we'll cut the Robin and see him finish off. So that's R1230 from the Golfstuds. Again, Golfstuds, great guilds. Probably, last I looked, I think they were certainly right there amongst them as the very best in the game. Way ahead of the likes of us at the Brit Drivers. We've never really been particularly competitive at guild battle. We're yeah, I managed to put my eagle in. We play it every time and we try our best, but we're not quite dedicated or good enough, to be honest, to really compete right at the top. But we enjoy it. So here's Robin for a birdie putt. So that'll put me 11 under. Not a bad round at Waikiki. One bad missed putt would have put me 12 under. I'm not sure because it doesn't remember what your record is. I think 12, 13 under is probably the best I've ever done at this course. Potentially 16 under I think would be the best you could do, but anyway, that's that. So thank you again, Robin. Good round. Apologies again that I missed your last couple of holes there. Hopefully something a little bit different, a little bit more interesting. And again, anybody interested in joining me for a round, please shout up and let me know. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.